We're going to be doing something a little bit different this week, friends. We are going to be looking at these different phrases from a song that we're going to be actually learning next week. So we're just going to kind of break them down into their rhythm counting numbers and into their do, re, mi syllables. And then hopefully next week when we go to actually learn the song, you will be able to learn it a little bit faster and know it a little bit better so that you can kind of practice with the activity that we've got to go with it. So the first thing that I want to point out to you actually happens in the song. One of the things the other thing we saw last week is a tie and a slur. So a tie is between two notes that are on the same line or space. They are the same note, and basically it just makes the note longer. Sometimes there isn't a rhythm that works the way that we want it to for how exactly long we want it to sound, or how exactly long a composer would want it to sound, or there's just not a good way to write it, and so we would use a tie to show that we wanted that sound to actually be longer. So in this case, it's not ta, ta, it's ta, where we keep holding out the sound for the second note or beat instead of making a new one, basically, instead of making a new sound. A slur is different in that it is between two notes that are on different places on the staff. They don't have to be next to each other, and that kind of thing usually happens when you have a word that is less syllables than the number of notes or sounds that the composer wants. An example of this would be in the national anthem, "The land of the free." The word land is a one-syllable word, land, but there's two sounds, land of. So if we saw the sheet music for the word land, it would be two different notes and it would have that smiley face looking slur to show us that we're not going land, land of, or land and. We're going land of, and we're holding that sound out for those two notes. That vowel works for those two notes. And we see some slurs here that will make sense when you see the words next week. What you need to know about our song is it's in 3/4 time. So 3 beats in a measure, a quarter note gets 1 beat. Again, we see the treble clef at the beginning of every line to tell us what set of notes we're dealing with. We're lucky they wrote do on the second line to tell us. Otherwise, we would have had to figure it out from the key signature, and we're not quite there yet, so that's okay. So this would be the one black key on the piano that we would have to play is this key signature. In this key signature, this is a sharp, which makes a note higher. Regular note, now it's sharp, so it's a little higher. Regular note, now it's sharp. A very small distance, it's just a half step, but it makes it higher. In right here, though, it tells us where do is. And it looks like a hashtag, I know, but it's not. It's a sharp. So that is also at the beginning of every line along with that treble clef to show us exactly what notes we're dealing with. So here we're going to start out with counting. And I have to add my little text box because I forgot to do that for a couple of these, I realized. So we start out counting 1. These are pretty simple. 2, 3, 1, 2. Oops, that's a 3. 3. And then we have 1, and we hold out the sound of that 1 while we're thinking 2 and 3. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1. As far as our pitches are concerned, we have do. We already know it's on line 2. Do, do. The note directly under do, which we know is T. Skip one line and go to the note that's directly above do, which is re. Back down to T, and we're at do. Combining the notes and rhythms together, Do, 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 ti, re, ti, do. That's that line. The next line, a little bit longer and some fun stuff in there. So get this where we need it to be. So we start off with 1, 2. Now we have 3 and, because we have that eighth note. 3 and. 1, 2, 3. 1, think 2. Here's the second half of 2, which is and then we have 3 and 1, 2, 3. Oops, just not long enough. There we go. 1, 2, 3 and 1, 2, 3, 1 and 3 and 1, 2, 3. And you might notice we have our slurs going on there as well. Now the melody gets a little bit tricky here because we have some accidentals. That's what these are called. We have a sharp, which makes the note higher, and we have a natural, which takes it back to the way that it was. So we left off on do, which is line 2, and our next note is line 3. And we know that do on line 1 means me, or sorry, do on line 2 means me on line 3, and so on line 4. So we know this is me. We know this is me. We know this is me, and then it's down a step, so it's re, down a step to do, up a step to re, skip up to fa, come back down to mi, and instead of re, because this is sharp, it's not mi, re, it's mi, re, R-I, re, back up to mi, to regular re because of the accidental showing us that it is back to normal. Oh my goodness, my fingers are hitting all the wrong keys. And then we have do, down a step to ti, and back up to do. And I didn't make my box long enough. Combining them, we have mi, 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 re, do, re, fa, mi, re, do, ti, do. I'm going to do just this second half of the measures again because I want you to hear the difference. Mi, re, do, ti, do. And we are lucky enough to have another page. What's that? Not what we want. Go away. There it is. Haha. Push the button too hard. So then up here we've got another 1, think of 2, and 3, and 1, 2, 2, 3, 1, think 2, and 3, and 1, 2, I keep hitting 3 instead of 2. My fingers are getting confused. 1 and 3 and 1, 2, 3. 1 and 3 and 1, 2, 3. Similar to what we saw in the other page. I think I lost my text box. I'll put a new one. Here it is. Make sure it's long enough. We know do is on line 1, and this is the space above line 1, so we know this is re. Now we have another sharp to natural accidental pattern that follows the first one. So it's not do, it's D, because it's just a little bit higher. We go back to regular re, which brings us back down to regular do. Then we keep going down to ti, do, re, mi, and we have the same pattern as before, mi, re, mi, re, do, do, and re. So this part is a little bit different. Combining them together, we have re, re, di, re, do, ti, do, re, mi, re, do, do, re. Moving right along. Where's my, I had one up here. I've lost my text boxes, so no thank you. Okay. We need it long enough for the whole line, please. And I accidentally cut off the treble clef at the beginning of this one, but that's okay. We know it's there in our hearts. So we've got re, nope, mi, sorry, mi, not moi, this is not French, mi, re, do, lo, so, lo, la, do, la, and so. And one of our simplest rhythms, or our simpler rhythms, I should say. Oh my goodness, I did the wrong thing. Goodness gracious. Okay, hold on, I'm gonna move my little boxes around. So this actually goes underneath, and now we need to do the rhythm. So we have 1, we think 2, and then we say 3. 1, think 2, say 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, think 2, and 3 as you keep the sound going. We'll put them together. Mi, re, do, so, la, do, la, so. And finally our last one, which is actually the same as our first one, but let's do it again for the practice. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, oops, that's 1 again. 2, 3. 1, say 2 and 3 in our brains as we let that sound go for longer. And then finally, do, just a little bit closer. Do, 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 ti, skip up to re, back down to ti. Not too soon. Ti. And finally we end on, maybe grumpy, we end on do. Not D0, do. So we have do, 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 ti, re, ti, do. The reason that we're practicing this way is because this is actually like the way that we read music. Let me make my face a little bigger. I want you to see my whole face. It's a little tired, but that's okay. So the reason that we are doing this is because this is the steps that your brain will take, but your brain takes them at the same time when we read a rhythm, like when we sight read a rhythm. So my brain automatically figures out what sound should be coming out of my body, out of my mouth, and how long that sound should be coming for. So whether it's do, re, mi, ti, if it's an accidental, and how long that lasts. We did it in 2 different steps. So we did this rhythm and we listened to it, and then we figured out the notes and we put it together. There would be no point in just singing the line without having that rhythm there. But our ultimate goal is to be able to do what's called sight reading, where we look at the notes and the rhythms and we can pretty much read it fairly accurately one or two times without having to have me echo for you, without having to write stuff down, that kind of thing. And we're definitely at the beginning of, well, not the beginning, because we're at the beginning of kindergarten. We are at the beginning of the end, let's say. We're in the final stages of being able to do that. We're super close because we've practiced a lot. So this today was just kind of giving you that that brain guidance. This is how we do it. And eventually we'd like to do it at the same time and be able to look at music and just be able to kind of figure out how it sounds. Of course, the first time we do it, nothing is going to be absolutely perfect, and you're not expected to. I hope I'm not expected to, because I'm not perfect at all. But it just gives us a better sense of what we're supposed to be singing. And this will help a lot too when you're in middle school if you decide to do music, band, chorus, orchestra, because that's how you learn a piece of music, is you read the notes and rhythms, and then as you get better at it, it gets easier and you get more accurate, and if something, you make a mistake, then your teacher will let you know, no big deal. But this is kind of the goal for us for this. So I hope you had fun with these melodies. I hope that it was interesting, and it's going to be a really cool song. I love this song. I'm very excited to share it with you. I've been waiting since you were third graders to do it, because last year's fourth graders did it around this time, and then I had to wait till you guys were ready to do it. So I'm very excited, and I hope that you are too.